So the farce between Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor is finally behind us, and us in the boxing community can finally move forward because we have some great matchups to look forward to in the coming weeks, in months, in what has been a great year, 2017 in boxing, right? Not quite yet. Because you see the MMA casuals, which is pretty much 90% of the constituency that bought this circus freak show, and the Floyd Mayweather diehards, his cultish, blindingly loyal followers. That's the other 10% that bought in. Plus, the mainstream casual sports media in America that promoted this thing like it was the second coming of Ali Frazier, the Rumble in the Jungle or something like that. They have engaged in their predictable backlash. This is so predictable to know what they're going to say, right? So we still got to deal with this for a few more days, maybe up until Labor Day, and then we can move forward with some of the great matchups we have coming up. But, of course, for some reason, since the freak show, Mayweather-McGregor was signed, everybody and their mother, especially in the mainstream sports media, wanted to compare it to Mayweather-Pacquiao. I don't know why. That fight happened almost 2.5 years ago. Completely different set of circumstances, has absolutely nothing in common with what just took place in Vegas last night, but they had to. And immediately, I started seeing stuff on Twitter about Conor McGregor landing more punches than Manny Pacquiao did, as if that's a thing or it matters. Here's one of those punches. Here's one of those big, huge punches from Conor McGregor. Notice in this sequence that Floyd, his hands are down. He's walking straight forward with his chin up, has absolutely zero respect for anything Conor McGregor is doing. Now, those of us who have actually followed Floyd Mayweather's career, particularly his career since he moved up from lightweight, moved up to 140, 147, 154, we know that this was the posture of Floyd's fights, for the most part, when he was fighting anybody that posed somewhat of a challenge. That defensive backwards posture, right? That shelling up, almost fearful look in his eye that a punch is coming toward him from somebody who actually knows how to fight. Here's the posture of Floyd against Conor McGregor. That was pretty much the body language of the fight. Here's another shot of Floyd literally punching the snot out of Conor. And again, Floyd here, fundamentally, not the best thrown punch in the world. Shoulders down, hands down, still lands against Conor because he's so straight up. Let's see some of those punches that Conor landed. I think it was 111 punches he got credit for landing against Floyd Mayweather. Here's one. I guess he's landing a punch to Floyd's left bicep, throwing it with beautiful fundamentals, by the way. And again, Floyd just kind of leaning back just enough to know this guy's going to miss because it's so telegraphed. You saw that coming from last week. Here's another punch Conor lands. Again, beautiful fundamentals. That's a perfectly thrown uppercut there. Love the way his body's positioned. That's not open for a left-hand counter at all. But he lands it, I guess, to Floyd's left latimus dorsi muscle. I guess that counts as a landed punch. Here's another one where Conor actually lands. I guess he's in a southpaw stance here, throwing a jab because that makes sense. Look at Paulie Malignaggi there calling the fight, staring almost in a homoerotic way at what's going on. But if you see Floyd here, his head, again, hands down, head forward, and this punch isn't even snapping his head back. There's no contortion there at all, and his neck looks perfectly stable. So I guess that's the big, hard shots Conor was landing. Now here is a punch from perfect fundamental position landed by Conor McGregor. Look at the fundamentals here, man. Look at the defensive prowess of this fighter Conor's landing a punch on. Look at the trajectory, the full extension on that shot. That's how you get it done, guys. I love how this fighter has his mouth open too. Obviously, that's how you protect your jaw. So that's just a little bit of what's going on, right? Now, I just want to show you some tweets that I saw. Look, let's start off with a positive one, okay? I don't want this video to be all negative. Let's start off with a positive one from Dale Earnhardt Jr. I love this. Don't give up on boxing. Two amazing champions will step into the ring to decide who is best. Triple G, Canelo. Love that. And then if you scroll down here a couple, you'll see somebody asks him, who is your favorite boxer? And he says Triple G and Gotti. Awesome. I don't know nothing about race car driving. I don't watch racing at all, but I am a fan of Mr. Dale Earnhardt. Great tweet. Probably the best tweet I saw from a celebrity regarding this fight all night long. Here's some of the typical MMA casual backlash because they're so butthurt after all the money that they gave me this weekend and guys like me. Here's a couple. Conor lasted almost 30 minutes with TBE. How long would Floyd last with Conor in a 5-round MMA fight? Gee, that wasn't predictable. I love this dude right below who goes, stop. That's awesome. I want to buy that guy a beer. You know, this thing got 382 retweets. That tells you how many idiots are out there that watch this sport. You know, it's so predictable. Not only this tweet is so predictable because of a few things. Again, all these casuals, they actually think Floyd's the best boxer ever. They think he's the best boxer of his generation, the undefeated record, and the mainstream sports media has been propping him up that way. They do not know the asterisks, the ins and outs, the gray area between the white and black. So to them, it was a moral victory, but Conor McGregor goes 10 rounds. Wow, that was a big deal, man. Never mind the guy's 40, coming off a 2-year layoff, has busted up brittle hands that have been broken a million times, busted up, slaps with his punches. And it was obvious to anyone who was watching this fight that has any knowledge of Floyd's background and just boxing in general that Floyd was carrying this dude to entertain the constituency. He knew he couldn't just go out there and get rid of him. Here's another tweet. And I actually retweeted this one. This was the first one I saw, and I just had to retweet it. Get them in the octagon, then we'll see who wins. Now here's one from MMAfighting.com. Gee, I wonder, how knowledgeable they are about boxing. Punches landed against Mayweather. Canelo 117, McGregor 111, Pacquiao 81. And this has over 13,000 retweets. Yeah, because Mayweather fought Canelo, how many years ago was that? Canelo was 23 years old. Yeah, he was way too green to take on Mayweather at that time. But that was a much different situation, a much younger, fresher, prime Floyd Mayweather. The fact that Canelo landed as many punches as he did at that stage of being such a prospect really at that point. He had only fought one A-level fighter in Austin Trout at that point. The fact that he landed even 100 punches, most of them are body shots, was pretty damn impressive. And then Pacquiao lands 81 punches. Guys, again, apples and oranges. That fight was over 2 years ago, and the punches Pacquiao landed actually backed Mayweather up a couple times, actually had him in a defensive shell. And the two most exciting moments early on in that fight were from Pacquiao landing hard punches. Those 81 punches Pacquiao landed were much more impactful than anything Conor McGregor did against Floyd Mayweather. A shell of Floyd who looked flat and old and basically a guy going through the motions to collect a check. Here's one from Bleacher Report. Oh, Bleacher Report. I love it. In 2 less rounds, in only 10 rounds, Conor McGregor lands 110 punches. I guess they forgot one punch somewhere. But he lands 110 punches, and Manny Pacquiao only lands 81. Guys, you should know better. I know that you're Bleacher Report. You're pretty much fake news when it comes to sports reporting, but you should know better. You have a lot of followers and subscribers. Here's another one from Bleacher Report. Mayweather makes history, passes Rocky Marciano for greatest record in boxing history. All right, Bleacher Report. I have a homework assignment for you, okay? I want you to Google the following names. Just do a quick 10-minute search and just read up on these guys a little bit. Here's just a few, okay? Sugar Ray Robinson, Archie Moore, Sam Langford, Harry Greb, Willie Pep, Carlos Monzon, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., Roberto Duran, Joe Gans, Benny Leonard, Tony Canzaneri, and Henry Armstrong. By the way, I could name about 50 to 80 more fighters. Floyd Mayweather is nowhere near the top 10, not even top 20, all-time great pound for pound. He's just not. And Rocky Marciano's record isn't a record. It's not something we recognize in boxing. It's not like baseball, the home run record or something like that, or the all-time touchdowns leader in football. It's just a record. And he was a heavyweight who fought decades ago in a completely different era. It has absolutely nothing to do with anything that's going on right now in boxing or Floyd Mayweather. It's stupid. And for you to say Floyd has the greatest record in boxing history means you've never watched boxing, unless it was Floyd or Manny Pacquiao. Whatever millennial cuck you have writing your articles, please make him do some research. He needs to learn about what he's writing about. Journalism 101. All right, those of you who follow my channel, you know that I put out a couple of videos about 2 months ago, right before the fight was signed and then right after it was signed, just, calling it the shit show because it was. And I got a lot of backlash from some of you heroes out there in the MMA world. So I just wanted to blast some of your comments out there and have a little fun with it because predictably, all of you disappeared. You're gone. I don't know. I haven't heard from you guys after what happened. I don't know. I guess you're still angry. Maybe you haven't woke up yet because you had to get so drunk that you haven't woke up and recovered from your hangover. I don't know. But here we go. Let's check out some of these videos or some of these comments on my videos. John Brady says, got about 3 minutes in and had to switch off. Couldn't listen to him for long. What a dope. And you see my response below. Hope you enjoyed the shit show there, John. Hope you gambled on that fight. Hope you helped pay for my steak dinner tonight. Here's another one. Kevin Joe says, you are a complete idiot. That's a very astute argument there, Kevin. And I'll just let the comments below that speak for themselves. MLO Drama says, you must be a casual boxing fan with your opinions on this video. No, obviously you don't follow my work and you're a moron. Monty Balls, that's a hell of a name. He says, if you actually researched your shit, you will find McGregor's background in boxing. Blah, 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 blah. This is the typical rhetoric that was coming from these guys as if McGregor had a real amateur boxing background. And I just basically called him out for not knowing what the fuck he was talking about below. You can read that one. Sophie Poynton says, McGregor started boxing when he was 12. He's now 27, blah, blah, blah. Again, another guy, at the end of this, he says, and this is, you get the amateur background argument from these MMA casuals who just believe anything they're told. And Dana White knows exactly what he's doing promoting to these sheep. But the other argument was toward the end of this guy's comment, Floyd never fought somebody like Conor. Copley has simply too many styles Floyd has never trained for. He's going to shock the world. Those were the two arguments that were coming back and forth from these MMA fans. It's amazing how sheepish they are. They're so uneducated on this stuff. And then right under him, this guy, Benny, comments, and each reach advantage is all Conor needs. A nighty-night Floyd. Yeah, how'd that work out for you? Cody Massingale, named after the very popular douche, made 3 straight comments here. No casual in America gives a shit about boxing, trust me. Well, you're an idiot because I sat at a sold-out crowd for Kodo Kamagai, and there's going to be a couple more sellouts in the next couple weeks for big fights here in Los Angeles and Las Vegas. The Renaissance is due to Conor. I have no idea what the hell that's talking about. Maybe he's a fan of Renaissance painting or something. I don't know. And then below here, I love how all the boxing fans are so hyped and praying Conor doesn't pull it off. Meanwhile, all the MMA fans could care less. Really? Really? Because Steven Espinoza at Showtime, in a couple interviews, talked about market research they did, trending analysis that he had some of his experts do, and they concluded that about 90% of the people that were going to buy this farce were MMA fans. So obviously, you guys give a shit. Your entire sport was riding on this. And once again, the most popular fighter in your sport loses to a boxer who's well past their best. First it was Ronda Rousey, now it's Conor. All right, here's another one from 462904. This is going to be the biggest fight upset in history, blah, blah, blah. Conor will knock out the big... Yeah. How did that work out for you? How'd that work out for you? Toytron says, what an idiot. Mayweather is going to KO him easily. So this is an example that the idiocy goes both ways. It's not all on the Conor/MMA side. Floyd and his fans, who are mostly casual fans and don't really watch boxing if it ain't Floyd or Pacquiao, they don't know what they're talking about either. No one in their right mind thought that Floyd was just going to come out and walk Conor down and knock him out. And I talked about this when I previewed this fight in last week's episode of The Neutral Corner. I talked about this even on radio spots I did on NBC and stuff like that. Floyd never does that. Floyd sits back in the early rounds and pretty much gives up those rounds. He wants to see what you bring to him, then he starts walking you down, if he's going to do that, in the middle to late rounds. And that's exactly what he did against Conor. So nobody thought that Floyd was just going to come out and KO him easily. Yeah, we knew this was going to be an easy win for Floyd, but if you thought this was going to be a first-round knockout, obviously you're a Floyd fanboy and have no idea what you're talking about. Let's go back to the comments here. Steve Russell says, Conor's straight, fast left is kryptonite to Mayweather's right-handed shoulder roll. Yeah. Second round knockout. Rightfully takes the title of GOAT. How'd that work out for you, Steve? How much money, how much of your kid's college fund did you blow on this fight gambling in Vegas? Are you one of the guys that paid for my steak dinner tonight? Me and Tiffany both thank you. Here's another comment from Martin Smith. Can I just say something? McGregor doesn't box or fight like any other MMA fighter or boxer. Blah, 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 blah. Goes into the same thing. You know, angles, footwork, all that good stuff, right? And then he says, Floyd's the greatest defensive boxer of all time. No, he's not. He's not. Also, he talks about in here how boxing and MMA angles are not that different. The stand-up game is pretty similar. Absolutely not true. And then a guy even below Iron KY Jelly, he doubles down on it and says, boxing doesn't have any different angles than MMA when it comes to standing and striking. Guys, you just expose yourself as people who have no idea what you're talking about. You probably think soccer, rugby, and American football are the same exact thing too. You're idiots. Back to the comments. Bob Garrett says, Montero rants about pretending he knows something and he's sucking ass gas again. All right. And then he goes into the blah, 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 blah. Same thing. Timing, footwork aren't vastly different from the stand-up game in MMA. Yes, they are. They are completely different. Talk to anybody who actually fights, spars, trains. They will tell you this. The angles, footwork, timing, spacing, stance, completely different. Tommy says, oh my God, I feel like I got duped, wasting over 10 minutes of my life watching this douchebag. Blah, 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 blah. And at the end here, please also notice he's making videos about moaning about people benefiting financially from this shit show while using shit show to draw views. Actually, no, bro, I ain't doing this to draw views. You know, if I really wanted to get views, I would have did a detailed, definitive guide breakdown on this fight, as I do with other big fights in boxing. If you paid attention to my channel, you would know this. And I could have did 10, 20 videos. I could have did a bunch of videos breaking down this fight, breaking down the undercard. I didn't do that. I wasn't trying to get views. I wasn't trying to get clicks. As I've stated multiple times on my show and on other platforms, I turned down money to not cover this event. I had a press credential, could have went. Inside the arena, ringside. I chose not to do it. Instead, I covered a real boxing event, made less money doing it, but enjoyed it and supported real boxing. You don't know what you're talking about. Back to the comments. 1987 Ox says, start at 3 minutes to hear all of the excuses we will be fed when Conor knocks out Floyd. And then he doubles down below with douche. How's that working out for you, 1987? You know what? I'm going to order an extra drink tonight at my steak dinner downtown LA. On you. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate the free money. Oh, yeah, we got Chad Bedwell. This guy's a real hero. This guy's a cowboy, man. This guy, yeah, don't mess with this guy. He's a firefighter, man. Yeah, let him clinch with McGregor and see what McGregor does. If Conor drops him once or twice a round for 5 or 6 rounds, blah, 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 blah. You're an idiot. Here's going to slap Conor around. How'd that work out for you, Chad? Then a comment below, you're a blanking idiot. When you see Conor shocks the world, he's the one man who has the blueprint to beat Floyd. He will fight Canelo and those pussies after he destroys Floyd. How'd that work out for you, Chad? How much money did you lose last night gambling because you were so sure, because you're such a hero? Did you bed well last night, Chad? Nah. You probably tossed and turned all night and probably beat the hell out of your fat, porky, ugly wife because you were so mad. Because you two were arguing all night because you wasted your kid's college fund gambling it on this fight. Thanks a lot for the dinner, bro. Appreciate it. Paulo says, Conor is going to catch Floyd, I think he tried to spell fraud, in the first rounds before he starts running him, knock him to blank out to shock the world. Surprise, motherfucker. How'd that work out for you, Paulo? How'd that work out for you? Let's see you guys respond. Let's see your response comments. Come on, guys. Where are they at? Vasyl Lomachenko. I didn't know he was a fan of my channel here. He said, stop crying and bitching. Conor is going to surprise all of you. He's one of the best counter punchers in the UFC. Because that compares to boxing. I love E-Riles destroyed him below. Please change your profile name and picture. Vasyl would slap the shit out of you for saying something that's stupid. And yeah, I'll pretty much let them speak for yourself. You know, you really should. If you're going to be a troll like that, please don't use the name of a great boxer like Vasyl Lomachenko. Change your name, man. Eric Murray keeps it short and simple. You're disgusting. And of course, I just said enjoy the shit show. I hope you did, Eric. I hope you really enjoyed what you saw last night. Hey, man, that's your money. You can spend it on what you want. All right? I think you're disgusting. And then Scott's Rants below says, Ward knocked that mother-blinking racist bastard out. I didn't know Andre Ward fought Conor McGregor last night. You're an idiot. Last but not least, we have Johnny U once again proving that this thing is two-sided and Floyd's fans are idiots as well, saying blacks are ending whites in boxing. All right, Johnny, way to keep it classy. So there you have it. Shit show's over. I made a ton of money gambling. I never gamble, never bet, but I made some cash last night. I know a lot of friends who did. I had fun at a sold-out crowd at StubHub Center. I'll be back there in 2 weeks for the Superfly card. Can't wait to see that one. Week after that, I'll be in Vegas for Canelo Golovkin. Week after that, I'll be back here in LA to see Jorge Linares fight with a real good doubleheader from Golden Boy Promotions. September's loaded. We got the World Boxing Super Series kicking off. This year has been awesome. And we had this big, huge distraction. It was basically a cancerous tumor that swelled and swelled and swelled. It was becoming dangerous, but we just went and got it removed, right? It's out, right? We had a big tumor in our arm. We got it taken out. Now we just got to let that thing heal. It's going to take a few days. People are a little butthurt right now. After a few days of healing, we can move on and get back to boxing. It's been a great year, guys. I'll see you at the fights.